and sometimes I like to tuck my knees into my chest and lean forward because that's how I roll. Today on Mr. Riley's Tutorials, we'll be tackling a few basics with Audacity. First thing is getting a hold of Audacity. You can do a basic Google search, or you can go to audacityteam.org. I'll paste a link in the description. Once at the website, there's no requirements to sign up, there's no ads. No ads within the program either. There's a Linux version, a Mac version, and a Windows version available, both 64-bit and 32. Why use Audacity? Well, Audacity is free. It offers some of the same features as Adobe Audition or Persona Sound Studio 1. Has a very, very basic, easy to understand user interface. It's cross-platform, so you can take a file from a Mac to a Linux machine or a Windows machine. You can do everything most commercial grade studio software can actually do, but this is on a free level. It has plugins if you require them, and it allows multi-track work, so you can have more than one layer of audio. That makes the software extremely powerful, and on some levels, power level over 9,000. So let's look at how to import and export audio into Audacity. So, this is the basic Audacity user interface. There's a couple of simple ways to import audio into Audacity. The simplest being drag and drop. It will import your file, as it's doing so here. This is already a compiled audio track from my audiobook, requiring one voice actor. So I'll be working this track today. Now, that's one way to import. There's a couple of other options. Up in your file you have import and you have open. This works with most audio files. So it covers the basics like WAV, MP3. You cannot import raw MP4, but you can convert them pretty easily using third-party software and then import the audio from that. It also gives you the opportunity to record the inline speaker on your computer, so record directly from your sound card without speakers being needed to put in. This can be useful for things like recording audio from a particular video that you can't otherwise get the audio track from. Okay, so let's look at some of the basics of this audio track that I've just imported. So this track in context is missing a voice character, the character of Arnold. I've had to substitute myself in because I lost contact with the voice actor that I had playing a particular character. You probably won't have this option if you're reading this yourself. But I can play the basic audio track.
Second in command of Krasel's army. Corporal Lydas Arash, I assume? He stated, looking down at Lydas.
Yes, sir. That is I,
he said, pulling his boots on.
As you can see, my narrator has spoken the section of track that the character needs to voice. This I've found is a very useful technique for recording audiobooks or audio dramas or whatever you want to call this particular type of work, as it gives a reference piece for every other voice actor. Okay, so the line required here, Corporal Lydas Arash, I assume. So, in order to record this, I have my microphone set up already here. Audacity will automatically detect your microphone. Here it will come up. This is my desktop, so it doesn't have a onboard microphone, but Audacity will automatically detect a microphone you have up here. This is the inbuilt sound card. This is the microphone that I have here. It's just a basic JB Hi-Fi microphone. I think I spent maybe $40–50 on it. You can do the same with your PC speaker on your laptop. You can do it with a cheap headset. This technique works with the majority of devices, provided you don't have an annoying hum or buzz in the background. Audio tracks and channels stay the same. You can also set here to monitor your microphone, and if I tap on it, you can see that it's automatically detecting and picking up. So, I need to now record this section of track. So, I can click solo. That mutes that section of track now. So, that plays that section of track now when I select mute. And that now mutes the track, so if I hit the play button, nothing will play. Now the beautiful part about Audacity is I don't need to open up a new track or anything like that. I can just simply come up here and hit record, like so. Now, The important thing when recording a track is to leave a section of about 5 to 10 seconds of just nothing on your track, for example. Corporal Elias Arash, I assume. Corporal Elias Arash, I assume. So, using the basic tools that we have within Audacity, we can see the 2 tracks that I've just recorded. So if I come back and I play them, you'll hear a lot of static in the start of this. Corporal Elias Arash, I assume. Corporal Elias Arash, I assume. Now that we've got this section of audio right here, we want to select it, we want to go up to effects, and we want to go to noise reduction. We want to make sure this part is selected where we've had nothing, and we want to have get noise profile. What this does is it takes a profile of all the noise in the background or in the recording at this particular point. Then we can go back or play Corporal Elias Arash, I assume. Corporal Elias Arash, I assume. Now I've played that, so now I will select this section, go Effect, Noise Reduction again. Leave these as defaults. You can play around with them if you want different effects, but I'm just going to leave them as the default standard settings that Audacity comes with. I've never had issues with these in the past. And I can select OK. And you see it clears the audio off the track. This removes the background audio, the static or the fans you can hear, the computer noise. It does not remove buzzing or any sort of sounds like that. It does dampen it, but this I found is the best method for removing sound off the back of audios. So now I'll play that clip again. Corporal Elias Arash, I assume. Corporal Elias Arash, I assume. And I'll just Control Z it, and I'll play it once more time. Corporal Elias Arash, I assume. Corporal Elias Arash, I assume. So you can hear the difference that makes for the audio track. And it makes a big difference when recording through. It doesn't get rid of all the sounds, and the best environment to record in are ones with as little sound as possible. But that will work for your crappy microphone on your computer, or one in a headset. Hell, you can even record a mobile phone. You can use this technique to remove sound off audio tracks. If you're trying to clear up audio, it doesn't necessarily have to be from an audiobook, but this is the best method I've found for this, and I've had to do this with the majority of the tracks to some extent. So I'm going to use this part of the track here because I didn't quite like the first take I did, and I feel like I stuffed it up. So now all we do is we just select the section that we don't need, and we hit delete on the keyboard, and it deletes the track. Right, so now I'm going to mute this track and unmute the first one. We're going to go back to this point here, and this is the section of audio that we need to change. Right, so there's a number of ways you can do that. The first way I'll show you is by muting the track, and this is one way you can do it by separating your audio tracks by voice actor or by however means that you want. Simple way is this button here. This button here just silences that part of the track. You can then come down to the bottom layer. You can drag that to the part you've just removed. Unmute the track. Just check it lines up. Yep, that lines up. I'll just delete the back part. Then we can play the section.
General, second in command of Craisel's army,
Corporal Elias Arash, I assume.
he stated, looking down at Lydas.
Now you may find that the section of audio that you've just placed in might not match up, or may sound a little bit dimmer. These controls here, they will change the gain of the track, but when you go to export it, they won't actually change it, so don't get lured into that trap. These aren't the way you change the level of the audio in the track. The way to do it is to select Effect, Amplify, and you want to use an amplification of about 1 or 2 decibels. I'll just go 2, and it makes the track just that little bit louder. I generally like to have all my audio tracks first before I start going through this, and equalize them all together. And I find it's easier to dim a track to the quietest track than it is to go the opposite way, because then you get sound distortion and things like that. So that's one way of doing it, and that's how you can separate your tracks. The next way is a simple cut, paste, and then your audio track is in the same one. You can see here that the track has been equalized from the steps I did before. And you don't have a need for this track anymore. But the advantages of having this track here is you have your rate at which the track is played back, or that particular line. So you can slow it down. Sorry. But one of the advantages of having separate tracks is if you want a character to sound to have a slower voice or a faster voice, or if you have a music track that you want just to be that little bit slower, you can change the rate of the track. So I will slow this down and increase it, and now it will sound really funny. But
he stated, looking down at Lytus.
It will also overlap any of the other tracks, but again, that's where your mute and solo comes in. Now, one of the advantages of using this feature is if you just need that little bit extra time or something like that, you can change from the default down to other, and you can manually set a rate that you want in. You can go like 3600 or 36,000, and it will bump that up just a bit. Now, when you are finished with your track, it's important you don't go File, Save Project, because this saves a project as an Audacity file. This is similar to a Photoshop file that's uncompressed. All the raw data is still sitting there. So what you want to do is you want to go to Export Audio. I'll just make a new folder called Tutorials. We'll load it up, and we will call this Slider Scene 2. And then just hit save. It says it will flatten the tracks. You press OK. You can then go through and enter all your data here. I don't do that because at a later stage, when I compile everything together, I do it at that stage. But for just these raw tracks on this computer, I just leave this blank. Press OK. Okay, now we can check it.
Dawn approached, quicker than any day before it. Sleeped. 5K near me,
Corporal Elidas Arash, I assume.
he stated, looking down at Lytus.
Yes, sir. That is I.
He said, pulling his boots on.
There we go. Thanks for stopping by. I'll try and do some more tutorials like this in the future. If you would like to check out the finished audiobook, please check down here. Let me know if you like this, if there are any problems with it. Jump on Twitter and hit me up if you have any questions. My Twitter and Facebook profiles are just below. And lastly, what's green and will kill you when it falls out of a tree? A billiard table. Good night.